Hi, my name is Paula Wall and I'm 26 years old. My husband Jeremy and I have two daughters, Lily and Elena, and we've been coming to Beacon Baptist Church since fall 2012. I was born and raised in Boston in the oldest housing project in New England. Now, life in the projects is tough. Growing up, there's the obvious poverty factor. We were definitely poor. Sometimes there was only just a can of tuna for 3 of us to eat. Sometimes it was just white bread and a piece of lettuce. So I definitely had a difficult upbringing monetarily. Also, the environment wasn't that good. As you can imagine, the projects aren't glamorous. I can distinctly remember the sounds of murder. I can remember seeing lots of drug deals, prostitution, and it was definitely tough. That kind of environment doesn't really foster a lot of happiness. It doesn't really foster a lot of joy. It's just a bad lifestyle. Growing up in the projects, I wanted to find an escape. And I remember church. Some of my earliest memories were church. Now, the first church we went to was a Presbyterian church, and we went there for a while. But some of my earliest memories also are of being abused when we were at that church. So my mother took us out of the Presbyterian church and brought us to the Catholic church. Now, I thought Catholicism was great. I saw the religion as my out. I could do everything that a good Catholic girl was supposed to do, and I tried. As difficult as it was, I remember coming home from church by myself, almost being kidnapped a couple times, just the difficult things I faced. I would always go back to church, and I thought that, I couldn't help it. I was born into this poverty. I was born into a home that was just a mess. I thought I could get out by going to church, and I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. But again, I faced difficulty because I didn't really have a very supportive mother. She was a hoarder, and that made home life even worse. She never really taught me anything about how to dress, how to do my hair, how to conduct myself. I had no idea what a girl was supposed to do. I had no idea what a young lady was supposed to look like. I was just surrounded by people in the projects doing anything they wanted. I was stuck at home with a mother who didn't give me any guidance. But there was always the Catholic Church, and I tried to be the best Catholic that I could be. And there came a point after my friend's father attacked me where I was just done with it. I was done with everything, and I was furious at the world, at my mother. How could she let this happen to me? At my friends. How could they relate to me? How could anybody help me? And I felt disappointed in God. God, I'm the best Catholic girl I could be. Where are you in all of this? So I was just done. When I was 15 years old, I stopped talking to my mother, and I was determined to get out of the projects. And I did get out. I went across the country. I went to California to college, and there one of my professors was actually a priest, and I thought, thank you, Lord. I finally have a mentor. He's Catholic. He's an excellent professor. He's going to help me. And let me tell you, it didn't help. Looking back, I can see it didn't help. I was just going through the motions. even across the country, I was still a Catholic girl let down by the Catholic faith. I wasn't growing spiritually, but God wasn't through with me. He had a purpose for my life that I didn't see yet. Now, I was the best Catholic girl I could be, but I found myself pregnant, out of wedlock. Go figure. That a lot of help the Catholic faith did for me. So I decided that I would stay with my baby's father. He would later end up being my husband, but at the time he was just this southern boy. And I said, okay, I need my child to be with his or her father. And in my mind, I knew I was having a boy because my past was so butchered. I never was a normal little girl. I never had a normal childhood that a little girl should have. So I was having a boy. That's it, I was having a boy. I could deal with a boy, but I was afraid of having a girl because I knew I would ruin her. And I moved down south with the baby's father, and it turned out she was a girl. What? How am I gonna have a girl? How am I gonna teach her how to do her hair when I didn't even know how to do mine? How was I gonna teach her how to dress when I had no idea what I was doing myself? But again, God, he wasn't done with me. And he was holding on to me when I was reaching out to a religion. He was standing there waiting for me to reach out to him. And so we moved to Roanoke Rapids, and somebody came door knocking, and Jeremy actually got saved on a doorstep, but he told her, oh no, you don't need to talk to my girlfriend, she's Catholic. And she went away. Well, he had a co-worker who also went to that church and was asking him to come to church. And finally, we did. And I went to that church the first time with a Catholic's perspective. Look at all these Southern people dressed up in their fancy clothes. Who do they think they are? And so I went in just, okay, I'm just gonna go to church, but I'm not really gonna take much in. I loved it. I realized that there was a truth out there that had been hidden from me, a truth that I was completely blind to. And I heard the gospel for the first time, and I knew that I needed to be saved. Now, I didn't accept Jesus that first time. It was about 2 months after I started going to that church, and I accepted Jesus. And once I accepted Jesus, my life changed. Before I was saved, I was broken, I was a mess, I was lost, desperate, in pain, I was angry. I mean, my life was just, I wasn't living, I was surviving. After I got saved, God completely restored me. He repurposed my life. It was no longer me living to be a good Catholic girl. I was the mother of a daughter who needed an example. And even though I had no idea what I was doing, the Bible had the way. Christian friends could give support to me and help me with the things I had no idea about. There are a couple verses that I think of. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." God had my end in sight. He knew that I would be the mother of 2 girls now. He knew that my past was my foundation, but it wasn't going to dictate my future. He repurposed me. He knew that I was destined for something else. Even though I might be stumbling along the way, making mistakes, it's fine because I'm doing it for my daughters. I pray that I can give them the childhood that I never had. Looking at my 2 girls and looking at my past, I never want them to go through what I've been through. But I know that with God and with this Bible-believing church, my girls can grow up in an environment where they just flourish and where they know the love of Christ. Another verse that speaks to my life, Psalm 37, 4 and 5. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. As long as I am trying to do the right thing according to the Bible, I know God's going to help me out. And he knows I need a lot of help. And for the sake of my daughters, I'm committed to leading a life in humble submission to Jesus, just in the hopes that my girls will have the life that I never did. God saved me from my broken mess, and he repurposed me. And now I'm a mother of 2 daughters who are in a loving home, and they know the love of Christ. My name is Paula, and I have been restored and repurposed.